Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe down below, and without much further ado, let's get on with the video. Today's video is actually super exciting because I was invited to watch a theatre show on the West End. On Monday the 21st of January, I was invited by the Society of London Theatre to go and watch Showstopper, the Improvised Musical. And this is exactly what it sounds like. It was a musical, but completely 100% improvised on the spot. I tip my hat to these actors because improvisation is insane, and to watch it happen in front of your eyes is honestly an amazing thing. And if you've never seen improv, go and see improv, because the people that can really do it, it's a magical experience, and I feel like everyone needs to witness it. I feel so blessed and thankful, and it's late because I just got back from the show and there's so much I want to talk about, but so Showstopper itself is, as I said, an improvised musical. They take suggestions from the audience for musical numbers, musical styles, like for example Sondheim was one that we had for today, which was beautiful. They also take suggestions for settings and plot lines and all of this kind of thing. And each show they do is completely different because obviously it's not going to be the same audience, everyone has different ideas, and they work off all these ideas and create masterpieces every single night. Now Showstopper, the improvised musical, has actually been around for I think it's 11 years now. They started off in the Edinburgh Festival and then since then have moved to London, where they now do one show every month in the Lyric Theatre, I believe, and then for the Other Palace, which is where I went, which is where I saw Heathers and Myth last year. Excluding Sundays, they are doing a show every night and then 2 shows on Fridays from the 21st of January to the 16th of March of this year. It's 2019 and I just looked down and saw that it was 2019 and I wasn't ready. Now I thought I would take you on a little journey and explain to you exactly what improvised musical we had tonight. It was called Stiff and it was set in a funeral home. A 900-year-old woman has died and her child, Mrs. Wilson, is faced with a choice: carry on living with her husband who she doesn't love, or off him and get with the funeral home's son. That's basically a very, very loose synopsis of what I witnessed tonight, and it doesn't do it justice because it was so odd and so crazy, yet somehow worked. And what they did at the beginning of the show was they take the suggestions of the audience and they ask for 4 different styles of music slash specific musical composers, and we had 6, which is the new musical on West End. We had Sondheim, we had The Little Mermaid, and we had Colombian salsa, which was very odd, but honestly the funniest part of that show was they broke out into a Colombian salsa dance, and I swear to God it's gonna be in my head for like the rest of the week. It was so funny, and they like reprised it, which was so amazing to see because it just proves how talented these people are at improv, which is something I love and I'd love to be able to do. But there you go. I did actually talk to someone after the show about like improv, and they do classes on improv, which is really interesting and I really love that. My favourite moments of this entire evening was witnessing the gay love between 2 men who, one of them had died and the other one, the funeral home son, there was 2 sons, one was in love with the dead guy's wife, and then this guy, the other son, was in love with the dead husband, and the dead husband rises from the grave and sings a Chicago-esque style love song, but it was more like a sultry seduction number, but it was super gay. And it was, I can't get it out of my head, okay? I've never witnessed ghost sexual Chicago-ness before, but my God, it was something, and I honestly want to see it again. It was very, very, very amusing and very entertaining. Also, as I said, they took inspiration from Six, which is a musical about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, which has come out recently. I don't actually know when. I think it's been around for a little while, but only like now coming into the spotlight, so to speak. And I actually started listening to the soundtrack about a week ago. I love it. It's amazing. It grew on me very, very quickly, but it is so good. And they started off this 6th number and it was like do 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 do, and I was laughing. My friend Bethany was with me and she didn't understand it because she hasn't seen 6 yet, but I was just there like cackling because I was like, this is so funny. And then they did like a little bit of a rap in it and it was just... Also, there was a song about Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, whose mother was the 900-year-old woman who died. Now that she had passed away, they were finally going to consummate their marriage, and they were in the cadaver like freezer place that's in the funeral home, and they had this whole number about doing it but not doing it in the funeral home freezer. And it was different, and I wish I could remember all these songs, because it's the way they just like did that and then they started singing and like they all knew what was going on. The only thing I want to say that I didn't love about Showstopper was that when they did start singing, they kind of repeated the same line quite a few times, but I can justify that particular way of doing improv because obviously you have to think of the next line, so they had to kind of repeat what they were singing so they could then think of the next line, and then the next line was even funnier than the thing that they were currently singing and repeating, so it makes sense and I accept it. Okay, improv is a hard thing to do, so that's the only thing I'd be like, if I didn't know improv, I didn't know how hard it was, I'd be like, that's so like, but like, because I know, you know? Yeah. Also, there was a version of Part of Your World but called Not Part of Your World, and it was about her discovering that she didn't love Mr. Wilson anymore, and it was so weird and so odd, but I enjoyed myself so much. Also, one thing I love about improv is when people do it so accurately. So if you guys didn't know, I did drama from like the ages of, I think it was like 6 till about 16, I guess. The thing that annoyed me was when people were like improvising or miming, they would, for example, be holding a phone at one point and then forget about it, and instead of putting it down, they just kind of forget about it. And there was one moment where I can't remember what she was holding, but Mrs. Wilson was holding something and she made a point to put it down and then carry on. Like, she didn't actually have anything in her hand, but she made a point to put this imaginary prop down, which I loved, and it just shows how good they are at this, that they can remember that. And also being able to remember everyone's names and all the songs, and being able to remember all the inside jokes that have been made for this specific audience, which I wouldn't even be able to remember my name, okay, let alone 5 other cast members, 6 songs that we've just sung that we now have to reprise, and like all the plot lines, and I tipped my hat to them, okay? It was so good. Now, as I said, I was invited to see Showstopper by Society of London Theatre. Now, they work to bring information and news and theatre tickets to their members here in London or the nearby area. In the description, I will leave more information on them and a link to their website so you guys can check out what they do if you want to. And also in the description, there'll be a link to where you guys can go and purchase your Showstopper, the improvised musical tickets, if you so wish to see it. I recommend you do. I had been interested in actually seeing Showstopper a while back, and then being able to go and see it for its opening night was amazing, and I cannot thank the Society of London Theatre enough for inviting me. Thank you so much to you guys. Thank you so much to the Improvised Musical for being amazing. But yeah, that is everything I have to say about Showstopper, the Improvised Musical. Links in the description, as I said, and I think that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, then please do not forget to subscribe just here, and then down here will be a link to something. I don't know what yet, but it'll be there. But until next time, bye!